Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Visordown. My name is Toad, and today I am talking to you about the new Harley-Davidson CVO Street Glide. So this is the new updated model for 2023, a bike that we first clapped eyes on in the flesh at the 120th anniversary celebrations at Budapest. But today is a bit of an exciting day because it's the first day that I've had a chance to come and actually have a proper detailed look at the bike, turn the thing on, play with the menus and go through all the different modes and the different selections that you can do on the new TFT infotainment system. And generally just have a bit more of a detailed look at the bike. So I wanted to film a very quick piece to camera, just to take you through what there is here, what is new, what's all new, what's updated, and basically a little bit more information about the new CVO Street Glide. So, of course, there are two models in the CVO range going into 2023 that are very big news models for Harley-Davidson and the motorcycling world in general. The big news, and this is kind of one of the big headline stats of these two models, is the fact that they are gaining VVT, so variable valve timing, and they are the first of Harley's Grand American Tourers to benefit from that technology. So the engine, to give it its full name, in both these models is going to be the Milwaukee-Eight VVT 121 cubic inch. There is also a load of other stuff to talk about, from the styling to the chassis to the comfort to the technology that's fitted to the bikes. So I'm going to try and go through all of that with you now. And because the styling is the most easily noticeable part, that's what I'm going to go through. So, I mean, you can't really tell it when you see these bikes on a magazine page or on a web page, but they have really sharpened up the styling of both the Street Glide and also the Road Glide. So the fairings are much more torqued. And while it's still got the overall shape and silhouette of a CVO or a Street Glide or a Road Glide, they are very, very different when you get up close. And pretty much every surface and every body panel has been remodeled or redesigned. Starting with the front fairing, obviously this has got the back wing fairing, that iconic shape that really does make it stand out as the Street Glide model. So it's been tightened up, it's been made a little bit more muscular, it's not too angular, and then it's obviously crowned with that new LED headlight and those signature DRL LEDs and indicators that run off down each flank of the back wing fairing. The fuel tank also has been totally remodeled, and that flows into the side panels that you can see down here, which are all new as well, and also the panniers, which the first time I saw this I couldn't really tell the difference with the panniers on the pictures that we got sent through with the press release. But once you get up close and have a little look around them, and especially when you can look at another one of the CVO models side by side, one of the older ones, compare it to this, they are very, very vastly different to the previous generation. Styling, it is all new. We've also got new colorways for this year. They've got dedicated graphics and decals, and you know, the badging on the engines is obviously all new for these new VVT models. While I'm talking about the engine, I can't not mention that down there, which of course you can tell it's the VVT from that end cap on the end of the engine there. And this is a, like I said, a 121cc or a 1997cc unit. So I was talking to some of Harley-Davidson's technical people at the Budapest 120th anniversary event, and they said that really adding the VVT system to this bike wasn't totally all about making it more powerful. It wasn't about getting astronomical levels of torque. What it was about doing was putting the torque and the power in the places where they needed to be to fit the remit of this particular bike. So it was to improve the rideability, it has improved the mid-range torque, and it has improved the power. But it was also, a big step of it was to get through the latest generation of emissions regulations that are ever tightening. So we have got 115 bhp, which comes in, peak power is at 5,020 RPM. We've also got 135 foot-pound of torque, which comes in at 3,500 RPM. Joining the VVT system, there is completely revised cooling on the cylinder heads, and it's really focusing around keeping the exhaust valves of the engine cool. So what that does is it cools the rear cylinder first, because that is the hotter of the two, and then that cooling is pumped to the front cylinder via an electronic pump, and then it goes off down to the bottom mounted low level heat exchanger that you can see on the bottom of the engine down there. It is pretty exciting to see this technology fitted to one of Harley's big American Tourers, and I was keen to find out in Budapest whether or not this would be then trickling down and starting to appear on other Harley-Davidson models in the future. And Jochen Zeitz, the Harley-Davidson CEO, was tentative to say yes to that. What he did say that VVT is quite an expensive system to develop, to design and to produce, but then you've got to tune it for every single application. Every single engine that it goes into has got to be developed and tuned for that particular bike. So he said at the moment VVT fits on these two models, the two CVO models. Obviously you can already get it on the Pan America and some of the other Revolution engine max bikes, but there are other engines that really need that VVT system to make them sing. So at the moment I think the VVT will just be landing on these models and the other Revolution max models that already have that system. Another massive change for this, for these two models, the CVOs, and it is a massive change, is they have done away with all of the analog instrumentation and they have got one big, massive TFT dash. I've never seen a dash this big on any bike whatsoever. It is absolutely vast. It has got everything in there that you need though. So you've got your rev counter, your speedo, you've got your digital display that you can sort of tune to give it whatever information that you want. Could be your sat nav, could be your music, your MP3 playlist, could be you know, who's calling you, and everything is kind of interchangeable. And there's an easy way to do it. You can flick through the different modes on the dash. So you've got like a sport mode and a touring mode, and the sport mode will have the rev counter and the speedo as the most prominent features on the dash. The touring mode's obviously got a speedo and a rev counter off to one side, and then in the middle you've got a really big, nice, clear, easy to read navigation system. So it's all tunable, it's all adaptable, and you can play around with it until your heart's content to get it exactly how you want it to look. Another massive change for the models for this year is the chassis. So they've made the CVOs lighter, they've made them a little bit more focused, and the way that Harley's CEO Jochen Zeitz described these models to me was Grand American touring for European roads. He's obviously a European who's been riding bikes for a long time. And what he wanted to try and do with these models was make it so that these were less American heavyweight tourers and more accustomed to riding on European roads, mountain passes and other roads such as that. So they've made them slimmer, they've made them lighter, they've also completely overhauled the suspension, front and rear, and also the brakes. So whereas previously Harley-Davidson would shroud its suspension to make it look nice and retro, now we've got Showa suspension up front, which is 47mm USD forks, and then there for everyone to see. Mated to those, we've got radially mounted Brembo 4-pot calipers. Again, it's a big change for Harley. Previously they put kind of shrouds on their brake calipers, and although they were probably made by Brembo or a similar company underneath the shrouds, they were always kind of badged up to look like Harley's own calipers. So we've got the front end has been improved for braking and for suspension. The back end has been improved as well. So we've got slightly more travel on the rear suspension to help with long distance comfort for the rider and the passenger. It's all just been kind of fettled in a way that I don't think any of these Grand American Tourers from Harley have for quite a long time. So it's good to see that they're updating it. Comfort's further been enhanced by the seat as well. So we've got a different design of the seat just to make it a little bit better over longer distances. So both of these two new CVO models will be landing in dealerships at the around about the end of August 2023. The CVO Street Glide that you can see before me comes in at £38,295. The CVO Road Glide will be starting at £38,795. And if you want any more information on either of the two models, get yourself over to the Harley-Davidson website or check out Visordown.com, where there is a bit of a deeper dive into each of them. Thank you very much, folks, and I will see you on the next one.